Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be doing some prep work on the S13. After the last drift day there are some things we need to address. When I say we, I keep saying we, what I actually mean is me, myself and I need to do some changes to the S13. I think the most important is probably the map. So when it gets hot it doesn't want to start properly, so I need to plug in and see whether that's something I can change or whether that's something I have to take elsewhere. Then I need to change the rear diff. For a welded one, I think that's also why I struggled a little bit in the wet with the LSD from the S14, which probably is more of an open diff by now. And then rear subframe collars, there are some more things I need to do. It just depends how far I get, like the handbrake lever, rocker arm stoppers. There probably is more and more front knuckles to get a bit more angle. So let's get the car on the ramp and take the wheels off and have a look where we can start, where I can start. If you watched the last video in the intro, you probably noticed this car, which is a JZS 171 Crown. I bought for a resale. It was a good sort of value for the money. Had some paint work done to it, and then we're gonna put different wheels on it, enjoy it while we can, and put it up for sale. And yeah, I'll probably video it, show you. I love these cars. I think they're absolutely amazing. But yeah, let's start. Let's get the car on the ramp, which is always a bit of a mission. Let's do it. Alright, first up was the map. I plugged in quickly and it was actually really quite self-explanatory what's going on. I think the car must have been mapped when it was really hot in the summer, and the fuel in, this is the old map, for the cranking was sort of really lean compared to the coolant temperature. So it just pumped up the fuel and now it's starting just fine. I originally thought that the car was flooding, but it's actually the other way around. It wasn't getting enough fuel. So now it's all good, and yeah, get it up in the air. Always a bit challenging to try and get a nice footage under the car, so we're going to be changing the diff. It's a little bit different to the Toyotas because the diff is bolted to the subframe. There are not actual bushings because the subframe bushings act as the diff bushing. So here is the diff that's been welded before it came with the car. I'm not entirely sure how to identify the Nissan diffs off the numbers, but I think this might be a little bit higher ratio, making the acceleration a little bit quicker, but I'll confirm that when we take this bad boy off. It's quite self-explanatory how to take it off. Drive shaft, prop shaft, a few bolts, a little bit of wiring and a breather. So let's whip it out. So this is the one I removed, this is the one we put in. They look exactly the same, the numbers match. Obviously this one is an LSD, this one is welded. I don't know whether it's welded LSD or an open diff on the inside. Ratio seems the same, I had a quick check. They both seem 3.9, quite easy to measure. You mark here, obviously on the diff, and on the input shaft. Is there an input shaft? I guess so, the flange. And same here, you rotate it, and then see how many turns it turns here. So I'm gonna put that one in, then I'm gonna check if it's got some oil in it. It probably does, because I can't see a reason why somebody would drain it, because they're basically sealed units. And then we're gonna tackle the collars on the subframe. And as if in 2012, with the old finger snap all done, and now gonna have a look at the subframe bushes, the insert collars for these, and the ones on the front. And I've just noticed that what I thought is a fracture in the lower arm, but it looks like some numpty was cutting the old anti-roll bar link and cut into the arm, and I just didn't bother anything about it. I've got another arm, but for now I think I'm just going to run the little weld in there just to make it a little bit stronger. I've also noticed just now that the intercooler at the front is loose. So I've noticed the little bracket, the weld on there has snapped. So on one side. So while the welder's out, trying to reach in there as well and run a little weld there to keep the intercooler in place. So these are the locking collars. This that's half cut goes on the top of the bush, so you don't have to drop the subframe all the way. So I slide it in, and then this one goes underneath. There is no point making a video about it. There's plenty of tutorials on the internet. I think GK Tech from Australia has made a really nice video. So if you do have an S chassis and you don't want to put poly bushes in it, do get yourself these. They are quite affordable. And then depending on time, hopefully you do front knuckles. I still want to change the tyres because it's got semi-slicks on there, and if it's raining it's going to be no fun. And the handbrake lever, longer one because the short one doesn't really do much. All welded up, not entirely sure whether I want to show you the result. It's kind of hard to weld upside down, but thing of beauty. Wow. The front's a bit better because, as I said, it's not a, you're not fighting the gravity. So that's alright, that'll do. It's all nice and secure. I'm gonna call it a day. It's Sunday. I want to spend some time at home with the little one, and I will pick it up tomorrow afternoon after work. We've got a busy day, so I left the car in a position where if something happens, the car is in a position to have a good drift day. Apart from the tyres, I'll get Tom, my one of my staff here in the workshop, to change the rear tyres for some Uniroyals rain sports, because it will probably be wet, so I want to have some good time. And if I have time, I will do the handbrake lever for a longer one and change the front knuckles for a little bit more angle and do the trucking. So fingers crossed I'll have time for that tomorrow. I'll catch up with you then. Next day for me, and only a few seconds for you. Tom's managed to put some finest Uniroyals on the back because I'm expecting, sorry about that noise, I'm expecting some rain on Wednesday for the drift day. And Tom will be coming with, so hopefully I can get some nice camera angles so the video's a bit better. No time for the front knuckles. Maybe it's a good thing so we can actually see the difference with the welded diff and the collars, and then we can do the knuckles another time. I do want to change the handbrake lever for this one, so we're gonna have a look at that. And I've also noticed a little oil leak from when I changed the turbo. I think might need new copper washers or tighten it up a little bit because we don't want to catch fire. But let's have a look at this lever. I'll remove the old one and then see if we can make this work. That's the handbrake that's currently on there. If you can make it out, it's quite short, so it looks like there's only a couple of circlips to remove the lever, and then we can compare it to the new one side to side. So pop them off. Hopefully I won't lose them. 1, 2, come on bud. 2, and the pins should slide out. Alright, side by side, it's almost twice as long. I didn't quite realise. So let's see if we can fit that in somehow. And while I was checking the fluids, I've noticed this fitting loose, because no excuses, but an excuse for me is I left it loose obviously, and I was trying to make it as tight as possible. But whoever left this, whoever built this turbo and the way it's positioned, as you can see, the bolt to hold the turbine housing and the banjo bolt is so close, there's actually no way of putting a socket on it. But I've discovered the right socket. So there is a socket which is for the BMW style spark plugs. It's just got that little bit thinner wall, so we can nip that up, and we are obviously clean the oil, and we are good to go. With that done, I think the S13 is as good as it gets with the time scale I've got for the drift day. Before I sign out, let's have a look at the crown I bought. This is by far, sorry about the leaves, not very nice, one of my favourite chassis. I got some paintwork done on it. It had some terrible paintwork on the wings, so that's all now sorted. It does have a little spoiler on the roof, which I've never seen before on one of these. Let's look under the bonnet. Underneath a VVTi 1J with a J-pipe delete, it's got the later throttle body, but this one's got a modification, so it's got a little bit of a better response, so the traction control doesn't actually work with this. So that car will be for sale once I've enjoyed it. I put some different wheels on it because it's got an R34 GTR wheels, and you just can't have that on Toyota, surely. So I'm going to put some different wheels on it, and you know, a few little touches, and then we're going to sell it. So if you're in market for a Crown, let me know. But for now, I'll see you later. I'll see you for the drift day, which is in a couple of days time for us. And don't forget, if you like the channel and you want to support it, like, subscribe. I've got a merch as well, like everyone else, so make sure you check it out, and I'll see you guys for some drifting.